A little leeway, sowing seeds of inspiration, one idea at a time. So, last episode we talked about how gratitude can bring a subtle energy of pleasure to the things that you do. And today I want to talk about being playful. What I'm sort of trying to work with is how to bring a subtle level of pleasure to our mundane or even challenging tasks in our lives or things that we view as not that fun. So, how can we have more fun? How can we have more of a pleasurable experience in all of our doings? So today, let's talk about play. Now, we're all very used to the very excited form of play, just as when we think of pleasure, probably think of a very active, elevated form of pleasure too, something very blissful or very intense. So what I'm trying to think about is how can we bring just sort of a more moderate perspective shift on all of our doings and thinkings that just pulls us back a little bit and loosens us up a little bit and lets us have a little more fun in our everyday life. So I was part of a workshop that I took from a gentleman named Resmaa Menakem. It was a workshop on somatic abolitionism, and it was phenomenal. Please look him up and his Black Octopus Society on the interwebs and social media. In his class, he said, instead of a toolbox, we're always talking about our toolbox. You got to have tools, you got to have tools. And I have written about tools. In fact, there's a whole chapter in my book, Be Water, My Friend, called The Tools. And so what was interesting is that he said, instead of a toolbox, instead of thinking of it as work, what if we called it a toy box? And thought of it as play. So I ask you, rather than thinking of it as work, how can you redefine or shift what you're doing or thinking about as a form of play? Play in its subtle form can come as curiosity. It can come as making a little game out of something. It can come as an exploration. It can come as a innocence as well, the innocence of play. And so that's my subtle shift for this episode on the idea of pleasure, is how can we turn our mundane tasks, our challenging tasks, our challenging thoughts around and put them into the framework of playfulness. Let's play.